There's something quietly magnetic about the Sigma male's energy. When he walks into a room, he doesn't seek the spotlight. He studies it. His gaze is observant, his posture relaxed, and yet there's a gravitational pull about him that draws attention effortlessly. Women notice him not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because his silence speaks louder than most men's words. This calmness, rooted in confidence and self-control, creates a sense of mystery that unsettles those who rely on noise to be seen. What many mistake for shyness is actually a sign of deep self-awareness, a man who moves through the world with purpose, not performance. Psychologically, this aligns with traits found in introverted intuitives, individuals whose social restraint stems from analysis, not anxiety. They observe before engaging because their minds process information deeply. A Sigma male reads people's energy, tone, and intent long before he says a word. Studies in behavioral psychology reveal that such men often possess higher emotional intelligence, which allows them to sense authenticity and manipulation almost instantly. That's why he doesn't rush into interactions. He's filtering, not hesitating. When he appears reserved around women, it's not due to insecurity, but discernment. He understands that real connection isn't built through charm or showmanship, but through presence and emotional alignment. His quietness is a conscious strategy, a psychological defense against superficiality. Many women interpret this stillness as an aura of mystery, which naturally amplifies attraction. The Sigma male's shyness is actually the reflection of control, a man who chooses his words wisely and his company even more carefully. In a world obsessed with oversharing and validation, his restraint becomes rare, almost sacred. He doesn't fear being seen. He simply values being understood. And that makes his silence not a weakness, but one of his greatest forms of strength, the mark of a high-value man who knows that power often lies not in what is said, but in what is left unsaid. Number one, he values observation over performance. Sigma males are natural observers. They don't rush to speak because they prefer to understand first. While others compete for attention, the Sigma studies patterns, tone, confidence, emotional energy. To him, conversation isn't a game, it's data. This patience is often mistaken for timidity, but it's strategic awareness. What makes this behavior fascinating is how deeply rooted it is in both psychology and evolution. In social interactions, most people engage in rapid exchanges, trying to fill silence or prove dominance through constant talking. But Sigma males operate differently. They harness the power of silence as a psychological tool. Studies in communication science reveal that individuals who pause and observe before responding are often perceived as more intelligent and trustworthy. This is because their responses are not impulsive. They're measured, intentional, and precise. From an evolutionary perspective, such behavior mirrors that of lone wolves in nature, creatures that survive not through packs, but through observation, adaptability, and timing. The Sigma male channels this same instinct in modern society. When he enters a room, he's not trying to impress anyone, he's scanning social energy, identifying who is genuine, who is performative, and who is masking insecurity behind confidence. His quietness isn't withdrawal, it's data collection. He pays attention to micro-expressions, shifts in tone, and subtle gestures that others overlook. This ability to read emotional and psychological cues gives him a powerful social edge. Yet to the untrained eye, his silence can appear as shyness or lack of charisma. In reality, it's a form of controlled restraint. The the same kind that great negotiators, strategists, and leaders possess. Psychological studies even suggest that introverted observers often outperform extroverted talkers in high-stakes decision-making because they absorb more information before acting. The Sigma male's silence is his strategy. He lets others reveal themselves while he remains unreadable. This is why people often find him mysterious. His thoughts are his territory, and only the worthy gain access. In essence, the Sigma male's quiet observation is not a weakness, but a refined form of intelligence. While others speak to be heard, he listens to understand. While others perform to impress, he studies to master. And in a world that constantly demands noise, his silence becomes his most powerful statement, a signal of calm dominance and unshakable self-awareness. Number 2, he's selective with his energy. A Sigma male doesn't waste emotional energy on surface-level exchanges because he understands the psychological cost of misplaced attention. In an age where most conversations revolve around validation, gossip, or self-promotion, he knows that constant social engagement drains mental clarity. Studies in psychology show that introverted and highly self-aware individuals, traits often found in Sigma males, tend to conserve emotional energy to protect their cognitive bandwidth. This doesn't mean he lacks social skills. Rather, he chooses depth over frequency. When a woman's energy feels forced or insincere, he intuitively senses it through subtle non-verbal cues, tone, body language, or even the rhythm of her speech. Humans are wired with mirror neurons that detect emotional authenticity, and Sigmas, being introspective observers, are exceptionally tuned to these micro-signals. So instead of pretending interest or engaging in performative charm, he quietly withdraws. His silence is not avoidance, but self-preservation. He would rather be misunderstood as distant than expose his inner world to someone who cannot value it. This restraint, often misinterpreted as shyness, is in fact discernment, the emotional intelligence, to know when to engage and when to retreat. It's the mark of a man who has learned that peace is more valuable than popularity, and that attention given to the wrong person can cost far more than solitude ever will. In behavioral terms, Sigma males exhibit what's known as selective social investment, a concept supported by research on social energy economics, suggesting that emotionally intelligent people limit their social circles to maintain authenticity and purpose. For him, every conversation is an exchange of energy, and not every connection deserves access to his mind. By maintaining control over his emotional exposure, he safeguards his inner stability. The illusion of shyness is merely the shadow of his discipline, the quiet strength of a man who doesn't chase validation because he's already found peace within himself. This deliberate calmness draws others in even more, making his presence magnetic without him ever needing to perform. In the end, his so-called shyness is not a lack of confidence. It's the confidence to stay still in a world addicted to noise. Number 3, he knows vulnerability is power, but also a risk. For most Sigma males, emotional openness feels sacred. It's not that they are incapable of expressing emotion or connecting deeply. It's that they understand the power and consequence of emotional exposure. In psychology, vulnerability often invites intimacy, but it can also open the door to manipulation or misunderstanding. Sigma males, who are highly introspective and observant, have learned this through experience. They see emotions as energy, valuable, finite, and deserving of careful stewardship. This mindset explains why they don't rush to reveal their feelings, especially in romantic settings. Their shyness isn't a symptom of social anxiety. It's a deliberate form of emotional discipline. In fact, studies on introverted personalities suggest that those who process emotions internally tend to form stronger, more enduring connections because they invest more thought before they engage emotionally. When a Sigma male meets someone new, he instinctively observes first. His mind scans for authenticity, subtle cues of integrity and emotional consistency. This analytical patience can easily be mistaken for aloofness or lack of interest. But in truth, it's a sign of respect. He doesn't want to waste another person's time or his own with superficial interactions. Modern social psychology refers to this as emotional selectivity, a pattern where emotionally intelligent individuals prioritize meaningful relationships over casual connections. The Sigma male embodies this principle effortlessly. His reserved nature, therefore, becomes a quiet filter, allowing only those who value sincerity to step closer. To the untrained eye, this restraint might look like fear, but it's really reverence for honesty, for depth, and for genuine connection. He knows that once he lets someone into his emotional world, they hold the power to either heal or harm. This awareness shapes his silence, his guarded demeanor, and even his body language. He listens more than he speaks, and when he does speak, it's with intention. Every word carries the weight of reflection. It's this emotional integrity that draws people to him, even when he doesn't seek attention. In a world that celebrates oversharing and surface-level charm, his quiet composure stands out as something rare, something sacred. The Sigma male's shyness, then, isn't weakness or disinterest. It's wisdom in disguise, a testament to the value he places on truth, loyalty, and the sanctity of real human connection. Number 4. His confidence is internal, not performed. The Sigma male's confidence doesn't announce itself with grand gestures or loud words. It moves quietly, like a steady current beneath still waters. His confidence hums beneath the surface, grounded in self-awareness and inner control rather than the need for external validation. Unlike traditional notions of dominance that rely on asserting power or commanding attention, the Sigma's strength comes from his ability to remain centered, even when surrounded by noise. This is why he often appears reserved or distant in social settings. But this isn't social awkwardness, it's intentional composure. He understands the psychology of presence, how silence can speak louder than words, and how calmness creates authority. Research in behavioral psychology supports this idea. People who exhibit low reactivity, measured responses, and controlled body language are often perceived as more confident and capable. The Sigma doesn't need to dominate a room. He simply changes its atmosphere by being in it. This quiet nature also has roots in evolutionary psychology. Throughout history, humans have evolved to recognize two types of leaders: the aggressive alpha and the strategic lone wolf. The Sigma male falls into the latter category. His focus isn't on competition, but on self-mastery. He spends more time observing than speaking because observation gives him information, and information gives him an advantage. His calm eyes and steady posture reflect this mindset, a man who's constantly analyzing, not performing. He knows that true dominance doesn't require force, it requires understanding. Yet this inward focus can sometimes make him seem detached. In truth, it's the opposite. He's deeply aware of his surroundings, but prefers not to get entangled in meaningless chatter or validation games. Neuroscientific studies show that introverted, introspective individuals often have higher levels of cortical arousal, meaning their brains are already more active and alert internally. This explains why Sigma males find peace in solitude and discomfort in excessive social noise. Their confidence is sustained from within, not from others' opinions. In a world obsessed with attention, the Sigma male stands out precisely because he doesn't chase it. His quiet confidence challenges the modern misconception that strength must be loud or visible. It teaches us that composure, observation, and restraint are not signs of weakness but of discipline. Behind his silence lies an inner world that's ordered, sharp, and self-sufficient. A living reminder that true power doesn't need to shout. It simply is. Number 5, he feels energy more than words. Many Sigma males possess a deep and almost otherworldly sensitivity to their surroundings, a kind of intuitive radar that picks up on things most people overlook. This intuitive sensitivity isn't mystical. It's deeply rooted in psychology and human awareness. Studies in neuroscience reveal that some individuals have heightened mirror neuron activity, allowing them to subconsciously read emotions, facial expressions, and energy shifts in others with uncanny precision. Sigma males, often being introspective and observant by nature, tend to develop this ability more strongly. They notice the flicker of hesitation in a person's voice, the forced smile, or the faint tension in someone's posture. These subtle cues give them insight into a person's true state of mind, which helps them navigate social spaces with calm confidence, but also a measure of caution. This caution is often misinterpreted as shyness or detachment. In reality, it's a form of energetic discernment. A Sigma male isn't afraid of people. He's simply careful about who he allows into his mental and emotional space. Modern psychology refers to this as emotional boundary setting, a trait linked to high self-awareness and emotional intelligence. He understands that every interaction carries energy, and chaotic or inauthentic people can disrupt his inner equilibrium. This is why he gravitates toward solitude or smaller circles where peace outweighs noise. He values authenticity above attention. Interestingly, this masculine intuition, sometimes called the silent protector instinct, has evolutionary roots. Early men who were more perceptive to danger or deceit had higher survival odds. Over time, this sensitivity evolved not just for physical threats, but also for social and emotional awareness. The Sigma male carries this ancestral wiring into the modern world, using it not to dominate, but to maintain harmony between his inner world and the outer one. His quiet observation is his defense mechanism, and his restraint is a conscious choice. So, when a Sigma male seems distant in a crowd or slow to open up, it's not insecurity, it's discernment. He's scanning, feeling, and intuitively processing what most overlook. His intuition acts like an inner compass, steering him away from drama and toward authenticity. He doesn't waste words because he's already seen what lies beneath the surface. What others call shyness is in truth a profound awareness, a masculine stillness born from understanding that energy never lies. Number 6, his mystery is his strength. A Sigma male's quietness holds a kind of gravity, a calm, magnetic pull that makes others curious without him saying a word. His silence isn't awkward or forced, it's intentional. In a world where most people feel pressured to fill every moment with noise, a Sigma's restraint stands out. He speaks less because he listens more, and that subtle balance between presence and mystery draws people in, especially women. They're intrigued by what they can't immediately understand. Psychologically, humans are naturally drawn to mystery because it activates the brain's reward system. When someone is hard to read, our mind keeps searching for clues, and that uncertainty heightens attraction. This is known in behavioral science as the curiosity gap, where limited information triggers a deep need to know more. But the Sigma's mystery isn't an act. It's not crafted to manipulate or impress. It's a natural byproduct of his self-mastery. He's not hiding. He's simply selective. He's learned that energy is precious, and revealing himself too soon invites unnecessary noise into his world. Through experience, he's come to understand that not everyone deserves access to his inner life. This quiet discipline communicates strength more loudly than any boast ever could. It shows a man in control of his emotions, his reactions, and his environment, traits that evolutionary psychology often links to competence and leadership, both of which women subconsciously find attractive. Furthermore, a Sigma doesn't rush connection because he values depth over speed. In a fast-moving world obsessed with instant gratification, he moves at a timeless rhythm. He knows that anything of true value, trust, intimacy, understanding, unfolds slowly. This patience is rare, and it's what makes his presence feel both refreshing and powerful. His stillness doesn't repel people. It draws them in because it reflects confidence without arrogance. People sense that he's comfortable being alone, which paradoxically makes others want to be around him. So when a Sigma remains quiet, it's not out of fear or detachment, it's out of awareness. His silence is his filter, his calm, his armor. He knows that real connection isn't built through loud words or constant exposure, but through moments of authenticity revealed over time. That's why his quietness feels magnetic, because it's not about withholding attention, but about embodying depth. True value, after all, is never rushed. It's discovered one patient moment at a time. So when a Sigma male seems shy around women, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the poise of a man who's learned that silence speaks louder than charm. That mystery lasts longer than bravado, and that the most attractive thing a man can offer is his peace.